Welcome back guys to my new video. In this video I will be continuing from the place where I left in my previous video. So let's get into this. Now we need to create some section. Before that you can see there is some margin in this section, the top margin and the bottom margin, and every section has that. So I'm going to define it, and I suggest you to put the CSS separately for different parts as I have done, so that it will be easier for you to manage these CSS. And also make sure that all the CSS are in order, so when the page loads, the CSS will load from the top, and it is necessary to load the CSS that are at the top firstly, and only then they load other CSS. So let's create a heading inside this section. And for the text, I'm just going to create a div and name it intro text, and I'm going to put this text inside it. And also I'm going to name this section intro, as it is an introduction. Now I want to put all these things inside the container. Okay, looks good, but I want to center everything. For this I can create a class called text center, which will center everything inside it. So just give it a style of text align center. Now I can use this class to make everything inside this section center, because all the things present in this section are almost at the center. Okay, now I want to define the width of this intro text. So for intro text, give it a maximum width. And we need to place it at the center. The way we can do that is we can set the margin to 0 on the top, bottom, and auto to the left, right. Now it will go to the center, and as we can see we have some margin below the heading. The margin below the heading of the intro section is less than another section, so I want to specify the separate CSS for this heading of the intro section. So I want to give it a margin bottom of about 25 pixel. Okay, looks good. Now we can see that we have some margin below this intro text. So I can give margin bottom of 50 pixel to this intro text. Now we need to create 3 columns. So create a division, a row, because it is going to be a row, and inside it I'm going to place my columns, and I'm doing that because it will look the content more managed. Inside the column I'm going to put the image. So I'm going to measure the height and width. So 149 by 132, just give the width and height for the image and also the alternative text. Now the next thing is heading. I want to put it in S2, and also in the column we have some text, so I want to create a div called column text, and inside it I'm going to put the text. Also we have a button at the bottom of the text, so let's create a button. And give it a class of btn_allo, because we are going to use this class to give CSS to the button. Now let's give some padding to the button. Let's give it background color, and the color will be white. Okay, perfect. But I think the font is not the same font that we are using, and the font size is not also the same. So for the button, give the font family Open Sans and the size is 14 pixel. Now looks fine. We need some margin below the column text. Now we need to set the width of the column, and also we need to float these columns to the left. And I think I want to put this column CSS into generic CSS, because every column on the page I'm going to float them on the left. Now for the column of the intro, give it a width of about 360 pixel and margin right of about 30 pixel. Okay, looks fine. Now for the rest of the column, just copy paste everything, but after the last column that we have floated, just put a div for clearing everything. Now just change the icon and the heading. Okay, looks good, but the problem is we have set the margin right of 30 pixel for every column, but for the last column we need to remove the margin left because the width is not sufficient. So for this I am going to use the class yamr0 on the third column, so we can simply use the CSS to remove its margin. But it is not working because I have given the CSS down below of margin 30 pixel and it is overwriting these CSS, so I want to make this CSS important, and now it's working. Now we can create another section called services, but the background of the services section is little light gray. So let's create a class. Let's say BG light gray and give it a background color of light gray. Once you have finished this intro section, just comment it. Now create another section. You can just copy and paste the code from above. Now give it a class of BG light gray and change the heading to our services give it a class of services, and inside services we have 2 rows and each row have 4 columns. So let's create a div of row, and inside row let's create a column, and I want to name it a text column. Inside the text column place the heading and create a div called column text and put the text inside it, and also create a button, and you can copy the button from the above. Oh, I'm sorry, actually I need to put this a link because by clicking on that I want to go into the next page, so I'll rather make it a hyperlink. Now create another div called image column, and inside it put the services image, in our services section we have actually 4 blocks, that each block contains a text column and a image column. So I want to wrap these 2 columns inside a block, and I need to float this block on the left, so I'm also giving it a class of column also. And inside this block I want to put 2 columns, one text column and another is image column. Just copy and paste the above row, and in the second row I want to place the text on the right and image on the left, so just replace the position. Now looks fine. Now give the CSS for the block. Okay, looking perfect. Now we can see there is some little space below the text column and the image, so we need to remove this. For this, let's increase some padding of the text column. To fix this problem, we need to make the image a block element, so just make it block and it looks fine now. Now just change the title and images of the service section. Now let's create another section, subscribe. I don't want to place the text on the center, so I'm not going to use the class text center for this subscribe section. And inside subscribe section I want to create 2 columns, one for the text and one for the form. Now give a background color to subscribe section and change the color to white. Looks fine. Now the padding looks little bit more, so just reduce it. Now for the input, give it a padding of about 16 pixel on the top bottom and 24 pixel to the left right. And since the button element are not getting the font family that we specified for the body, so let's give it manually, and the font size also. Now looks better. Now let's give some border radius, and now let's create some CSS for the subscribe button. Give it some padding and change the font weight to bold. Let's wrap these things inside the form because it is a subscribe form. There is some spacing between the input and the button. To fix this, we need to make the outer div a flex element. Now let's give some background color to the button and change the color and the font weight. Now looks good. Let's give border radius for the button also. Okay, looks fine. Now let's create another section called contact us. Just copy and paste the above div and change the heading to contact us. Now inside this, I want to create a row and 2 columns. And inside the first column, I want to put a form that will be our feedback form, or let's say contact form. And inside this, I want to create a row where I am going to create a form group, and inside form group I am going to create an input for the text, that is name, and I want to create another form group for the email. And outside this row, I'm going to create another form group for text area for the message, and I want to set the row to 8. What this does is it creates 8 rows space for text area. And now let's create a button, send feedback, and the type will be submit, and let's give it a class of button hello, btn hello. Now looks fine, but we don't want to center everything, so let's remove this class. Let's give it a class of contact, give a class of outer row for the outer row, because for the columns outside and inside the row I want to give different sizes, so I am going to create class outer row. So for the column inside the outer row, give it a width of about 555 pixel and margin right of about 30 pixel. And for the column inside the row of outer row, let's give it a width of about 265 pixel and margin right of about 15 pixel. And for the input and text area, let's give them a width 100%. And I want to add another generic CSS, that is I want to give margin button of 15 pixel for the form group. Now it looks much better. Let's give some padding to the name and the email. Now let's give some padding to these input fields and the text area. Okay, looks fine. Let's change the background color. Okay, we need to remove this light gray class because the context section is not going to have the light gray background. And now we can center this heading. Now keep the font family and the font size for these inputs as we have used in our body. Now we need a Google map for the right section, so let's find some place in the Google map and just go to embed map and copy the iframe code and just paste it inside a div class of Google Map. And I want to set its height to about 220 pixel and I want to give it a width of 100%. Now let's see. Looks fine. Now let's create a div social icons, and inside it I'm going to put icons, and I'm going to use the font awesome icons for this, and it is very simple to use. And by using font awesome icons you can get a lot of icons. You can go to the website and view the classes for various icons, and you can simply use them in your website. After this, let's create a footer, and it is very simple to create a footer. We can just create 2 columns, and we can float 1 column to the left and another column to the right. So let's create a row and create a column, and inside it we can just place the copyright text, and again just duplicate this column, and we want to pull the content inside this to the right. Just copy the links and place them inside the anchor tags. Okay, let's give some CSS to the footer. Let's change the background color and give some padding. And change the color to white. And for the anchor tag of the footer, change the color and set the text decoration to none. Okay, looks fine, but I think I have forgot to clear after floating the div. So just add a class clear fix and it will fix everything. Okay, another thing I did mistake was I need to wrap these contents inside a container. So let's create a div container. And now it looks fine. You can play with the spacing to make the links better and more adjusted. Okay, now it seems we have completed the footer section. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe, and also please put your comments into the comment section. I'll be uploading the next video as soon as possible. Thank you.